Okay, we'll now be looking for an entry or a touch of 93.85. Same stop loss. Reason we're picking AMD over Microsoft is this 1040 candle. Right? If you look at that 1040 candle, it's a good shape, bad volume compared to previous bar. So AMD is showing us more relative strength. Okay, watching close here. 3 cents. Okay, gonna catch my breath for a sec. So just gonna catch my breath for a sec. Alright guys, I am in. Average price 131.2. 131.2. Let's see if this thing can bounce back here. What the stop loss is for, right? If we get stopped out, this is that red line. Oh, you're asking a different question. So this was our confirmation candle here, right? Gave me that low vol pullback. Normally we waited for this one, tried to get an entry, couldn't get one. Then we had a little bit of bullish momentum. Looked for weak bears to reclaim control. They couldn't, right? By giving us that low volume, that's what it told me. So that was my entry target. All right, come on, AMD, come on. Yeah, stop loss is that red line, guys. Stop loss is that red line. Still in. Still in, still in. What was your stop? Why'd you pick a stop on the underlying? Or on the option, sorry, not the underlying. Waiting for a break under that low of day. That's my stop loss. Remember, guys, right? We got to know what the delta is of the contracts. Right? And you should be able to estimate what it is, right? Estimate that that's approximately $1 stop. And then size your plays accordingly, right? Guys, you got to be responsible for your own position sizing. You got to be responsible for doing that math. It's really basic, but if you don't do it, you can't allow your position sizing to stop you out of a play, right? That's unacceptable. So please, guys, right? Spend the afternoon it's going to take to learn how to do it. Take the afternoon it's going to take to figure it out. Right? I gave you all the information you need, but you got to think about your position sizing extremely selfishly. Right? You can't let your the dollars that you have on be what kicks you out of a play that's still alive. Right? The bigger the stop, the smaller the position. So please, guys, think about that as selfishly as possible. I don't do conditional orders, right? That's not how I do it. But what you do is you set a line, you put an alert on it, and then you get out at market price, right? When it crosses that line. But what you shouldn't allow, guys, right, is you got to be thinking about your position sizing as independently as possible, right? Do what's best for your account. Do what's best for your risk tolerance. But it has to be a dynamic thing, right? So please read the options document, right? Learn about the Greeks. Learn how Delta works, right? This was an easy one. It's approximately $1 stop. So what's the Delta? Delta is how much the contract's going to move for every dollar the underlying moves. So what's 34 cents of $1.30, right? It's a 30% stop loss. So if we then go to our 30% stop loss, or we know it's approximately a 30% stop loss, and we know what our position sizing is, okay, that's lotto size, right? So we got to be thinking this way. We got to be doing that math. You got to be understanding why we're taking the size we're sizing, right? And always keep yourself under your sort of that 1% or 3% or whatever number that is. You got to be doing that math, guys. You got to be doing it. Yeah, we had to give it the room, right? We're still in play here, guys, right? We're still in play. Hopefully it'll go. But that's why we can't let our position sizing stop us out, right? We're, what, 7 cents away from our entry price, or at least from my entry price. So we can't allow our position sizing to be what stops us out of a play when the play is still valid. So it's so important, guys, right? It's literally the only thing that matters. So please, please, please focus on that. Learn that. If you guys don't understand how, send me a DM, right? But it's easy. So please, guys, right? Just spend an afternoon learning how to do it, and you got to do it before every trade. You got to think about these things independently. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'll tell you what I can, but I'm a human too, right? I'm going to forget to write things, or I'm going to forget to do things, right? Or I'm going to forget to say something. So you got to be thinking about yourself as selfishly as possible, right? And your position sizing is how that gets reflected. So always, 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 please be doing what's best for your position sizing. And don't just, like, because the trade is happening, because we've been waiting all day, jump in at a random size, right? Because then you don't have an edge. You don't have that advantage. The numbers no longer work in your favor. So it's what I get most ranty about, right? Because it's the most important thing. So please start thinking about how the delta impacts your stop loss, right? If we know what the stop loss is, okay, we know it's 85 cents away. Okay, round that up to $1, and then it's really, really easy. So please, guys, always be thinking about that stop loss. Always, always, always. That's what we talk about when we define risk, right? That's what we mean by defining risk. Hopefully you get a good bounce here, Alex. Let's see if this thing can pop for us. Exactly. So no excuses, guys, right? No excuses. You got the tools in front of you. Don't let the excitement of a trade trick you into skipping your bad habits, okay? That's really, really important. Sounds good, Trevor. We'll talk to you in a little bit, man. All right, so let's see if it'll go here, right? Let's see if it'll go here. Teased us. So let's see if it'll pop. Okay, and away we go, right? Now this thing is starting to move for us. So first take profit's going to be 145. That's going to be my first take profit target. I'm going to take off 1/3 of my position there. Yeah, that's our end goal, Alex, right? So we're going to take some off along the way. I like to take some off usually at first like 10%, then go to entry protection mode and see if I have that lottery ticket to then keep running. So I'm going to take off 1/3 of my position, guys, at approximately that 145 area. And yeah, 1/3 of my position there. And then stop loss will be pushed up to my entry price. So it should be in a second here. Okay, 1 cent away here from profit target. And I'm taking 1/3 off here, guys, of my position at that 145. Okay, there we go. Locked in a little bit of profit. Stop loss here now on my remainder is going to be at 130, call it 135. 135, and let's see if this thing can now keep pumping. We're in great shape here, though, all of a sudden, guys. Like, look at this thing now. Squeeze mode, right? So we did a good job. I'm going to take a little bit more off here at this 160. Oh, whoops. Almost sold way too much. So I'm going to take a little bit more off here, guys, at this 160. Right, and then I'm going to push my stop loss up. So let's see if this thing can keep pushing. But that's why we can't allow our position sizing to cost us money, right? Good example here today. Really, really good example. In the meantime, right, as we really exploded through, I'm going to push my stop loss up to 140, right, on my remainder. And let's see if this thing can keep giving us that follow through. Next take profit target, 160. So it should happen here in a sec. There we go. Locked in a little bit more profit. Now, stop loss on my remainder, right? Gonna be 150. 150 stop loss on my remainder. And let's see if this thing can keep pushing. So yeah, maybe the entry wasn't perfect, guys, but our stop loss was good, right? It was where it had to be. And didn't allow my position sizing to stop me out of that play. So average price 131, current price 172, right? That's an epic trade. It's a good example of why we have to think about our position sizing, because when we have too much on, right, we stop thinking clearly, right, guys? And so when we stop thinking clearly, we no longer make rational decisions. So we always have to make sure that we're keeping ourselves under that limit, right? Under that price, under that sort of area, and that we're not forcing things that aren't there. So that's why position sizing is so important, right? Because it keeps us thinking like rational, realistic traders. And now this is turning into an epic trade, right? Turning into a huge win. So pretty stoked, right? This is an awesome result. But we had to deal with a little bit of stress. We had to deal with a little bit of pain. That's the way it goes sometimes. But, you know, we're killing it on this all of a sudden. And it's all because the position sizing allowed me to not have to trade my P&L, right? It allowed me to trade the chart. Let's go, Paco. Let's go. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Right? Paco's one of the OGs here. He understands. I'm sure he'll tell you horror stories of me ranting and raving about position sizing. And now he survives, right? But guys, it's so important. Nice work, Jesus. Nice work. And now all of a sudden, right? yeah. But hopefully it's paying off, right? Like, guys, I'm going to be rough sometimes, right? But it's literally the most important thing. So please, 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 always be thinking about your position sizing. Always be defining your risk before you enter the trade. Because, yeah, now you should be up 1%. Right? This is a sick play. I'm going to push my stop loss up a little bit. 155 stop loss on my remainder. See if we can get some follow through. If we can't, we can't. But sick play, right? No complaints. So I hope you guys understand, right? And like, I'm here to help. So if you don't understand how to calculate the delta, or you're struggling with that, send me a message, guys. That'll help you out, right? But don't, when you're in a position and we're still, like, I still haven't gotten stopped out, like, you shouldn't be ever saying that, oh my gosh, this number's too big, right? You got to be predefining what that is before we take every trade. Because it helps you to then understand what the risks are. And when you understand when there isn't a surprise, it's much easier then to be able to hold it out, right? And if it is a surprise, then you made a mistake. So I apologize for being a little bit snappy and a little bit like bitchy. It's not my intention. This is the most important thing to learn, and so I don't want to mince words about it. That's really all it is. And yeah, I got a little bit lucky that this thing now popped and ran, right? But I gave myself that chance with my position sizing, right? That's all we can always hope for. That's it. And guys, and I want you all to be super successful, right? Like, I want you guys to all be the best traders you can possibly be. And defining your risk is what it takes, right? So please, please, please work on that. If you have to work on it on sim for a week, don't worry, right? The market's always going to be here, always going to get setups. And then when you master it, it becomes just a numbers game. It becomes so much easier. It becomes so much less stress. That it just becomes the most fun, enjoyable thing in the world. But you got to learn that first. And you got to rely on yourself for that risk calculation. And boom, guys, we bottom ticked it, right? We killed it on these. Like, you guys don't understand the spittle I had to take in my day. At least you guys are behind the screen here. But these are the lessons we got to learn. Great work, Paco. Great work, man. That's awesome. Congratulations for holding out. My stop loss is still 155 here. See if we can keep getting a bit of follow through, but not getting too aggressive with this now. Let's go, Alex. That's awesome. Glad you crushed it. Nice work, Nitesh. Great work. Sounds good. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember, guys, right? Trading psychology is a proactive, not reactive decision, right? No one can make you a better trader, or no one can make you feel better when you're risking too much. So that's why we have to define our trades, right? That's why we have to define our risk. Right? We have to understand why we're sizing it this way, why we're stop losses here. Once we understand those things, right, we lose that anxiety. Right? And then if we do have anxiety, it's because we're trading maybe too much, right? Everyone's got a different number that breaks them, right? So if you're, trading at that number constantly, you're always going to feel that anxiety. But if you define your risks and you always keep yourself under that number, right, you're always going to do well. So I'm going to take a little bit more profit here at that 170. We're kind of struggling at this area. So I'm just going to take off a little bit more here at there we go. Got to fill 170. Oh, I'm not getting a fill. It worked out in my favor. Gotta fill here now 172. I hope I can get one. Man, why can't I couldn't get it off. Still trying to take a bit more off here. Around that 170 area if I can. And just keep locking profit on the way up, right? And then I'll push my stop loss. Nice work, Vivian. That's awesome. Congratulations. Really, really well done. All right, I am out, guys. I am out of AMD now. Just got stopped out. Good job, everybody. Right? Way to hold through. That was not an easy trade. But if you size your play well, you survived, and you caught yourself a great win. Good job, everyone. Sorry for ranting and raving, right? But that position sizing is the most important thing. And I really need to be adamant about that, okay? So I hope you guys understand. And that's a good example of why we always protect entry, right? We don't know how quickly things are going to reverse. We don't know how the market's going to behave. So it's always why we got to protect entry too, right? Little stuff like that all adds up, guys. All these little habits just stack up to turning us into more and more profitable, right? And that's all we're looking for. All right, guys. I'm probably going to take off for lunch here. No point sitting around and watching. Yeah, I mean, great little start, right? We had to be really patient. We took a great trade. We had to stomach a little bit of short-term pain, but it ended up working out really, really well for us, right? So that's all we can ask for. Really stoked with that outcome. And hopefully we can keep kind of building these good habits, right? Keep compounding these wins. So same deal like always. Should be back for around that 1:30 time frame or so. I'm going to go eat some tacos for Cinco de Mayo. Have yourselves a great little lunch period. And we'll be back at it. Hopefully finding some strong plays in about an hour and a half. So talk to you guys in a little bit. Oh, I'm not leaving, Alex. I'll still do it. I'll be back streaming again after lunch. But, yeah, it's taking a lunch break now. So if you're going away, we'll see you tomorrow. But stream goes on all day long.